Hey, folks, listen up. We're going to be talking about some important stuff today, stuff that impacts you, impacts everyone. So stay with me. Have you ever felt held back in life? Like you just don't think you're capable of achieving certain things, having certain things, maybe a certain job, certain income level, or maybe even creating something magnificent with your own talents and skills? Or even having the relationship of your dreams because it hasn't worked out so far? Well, we're going to talk about these types of obstacles and how to get past them because there's a very important aspect of the mind that governs exactly what we believe and what we perceive. And whatever we perceive and believe is what's going to be true for us. Our perception is our reality. Let that just sink in. Our perception is our reality, right? If you put on some sort of funky glasses, right? Imagine you put on some glasses that were made your vision very blurry, right? They're wrong prescription for you, and you put them on, and everything looked blurry. And imagine if you left them on all day. Wow, that would be rough. But imagine if every day you just left them on. Your reality would be this blur that you're seeing and experiencing because you can't see anything beyond that. And if you left them on long enough, you would actually believe that that's what's true for you because you don't remember, or maybe you've never experienced what that clear vision looks like. So that's a good analogy to think about. And there's other good analogies around this. But what we're talking about are the limiting beliefs of the mind, the limiting beliefs that you hold near and dear to your heart, to your very being, that you may not even be aware of. So when you think of the world of personal development, self-improvement, it could really be boiled down to this simple idea, this simple concept that your perception is your reality. Your beliefs are going to shape what you perceive in your reality. And it's all going to be managed by the brain. And that part of the brain is called the reticular activating system, the RAS. And you can go and read all sorts of stuff about that. But it's essentially the filter by which we see the world. And that filter is based on the beliefs that we hold in our mind that are hardwired programs of the mind. So if you don't believe you're capable of earning a six-figure income or a seven-figure income or even a $50,000 income, it's your beliefs that make it true for you. Because let's say you're earning $40,000, $50,000 a year, and you couldn't imagine earning 100,000, right? Because you don't believe it's true for you. You've never experienced it, so you don't know what it's like. You have no experience to fall back on. You can maybe imagine it, but it's even hard to imagine, to visualize, because you've never experienced it. And visualization is a whole other aspect that I'll be talking about here in a moment. But the fact of the matter is, maybe you were told your whole life, we're not the type of family that makes a lot of money. You know, maybe your parents told you you'll never make more than 30, 40, 50,000 a year. We're not the type of people to go to college. We're not the type of people to get a good job. We're not the type of people to start a business. And that's where we're going to start this, is where do these beliefs come from? So the beliefs started when you were just a child, even just an infant, being brand new to this world. You are a sponge, picking up and learning information at an amazing rate. And so for the first 7, 8 years of your life, your brainwave patterns are actually in a state that's similar to hypnosis. And this is all true stuff. You can go look at it in neuroscience, um, behavioral psychology. It's all there. But the first 7, 8 years of a child's life, they're a sponge. They're actually operating in a very hypnotic, suggestive state of being all the time. And so they're very influential. That's why it's so easy to influence kids. That's why you could tell them anything and they would believe it. And it might seem silly to us as adults, but they believe it because they're open to the world of information and knowledge just pouring into their tiny little brains, and it's creating who they are. And so after that 7, 8 years old time frame, those children are literally they're well established, like computer programs running in their brain, right? They have the programs that will carry them, the belief systems that will carry them through life. There was an old saying, I think it was Dr. Bruce Lipton who used to quote this, and he's amazing. Dr. Bruce Lipton, the biology of belief. He's had a huge impact on my life. So thank you, Dr. Bruce. Shout out to you. But he talked about how the first 7 years of a child's life, there was this old quote back from like the biblical times. And they would say, give me a child for the first 7 years of their life and I'll show you the man, right? Because that's when all the programming happens. And then they carry those programs throughout life. And it's hard to change them at that point because the brainwave patterns, they actually shift. They shift as the child kind of shuts off that hypnotic state of being, right? The brainwave patterns shift. So they're not so suggestible. It's just amazing the way the brain works and the mind forms and the way belief structures form. And so a lot of the beliefs that a child carries in going into a teenage, early adulthood, that's who they'll become. That's who they are, usually for the rest of their life. Now, it used to be believed that that couldn't change. And it's not true. Beliefs can be changed at any age. The brain always remains programmable, so to speak. It's not as easy because those programs become part of the subconscious, the unconscious, and we don't even know they're running. We may not even understand why we believe we can only make $100,000 a year when there's other people who've had the same opportunities as us that are making $1 million a year, right? Why is that? It really distills all down to the subconscious belief systems, the programs that are running the brain, running the beliefs, running the perception. So your beliefs will shape your perception. You will never see an opportunity to make a 7-figure income if you believe that you're only capable of making a 6-figure income or less than that, right? There's no way you could even comprehend it because your belief system says, I'm not the type person to do that. And so I'm not going to go into why beliefs form or how they form. They could be formed as simple as a child being scolded for something could form some sort of belief in their mind, right? It doesn't have to be traumatic, although trauma certainly will shape and form belief systems, right? Even into adulthood. And the beautiful thing is all of this is capable of being changed. We could influence the subconscious mind. We could work on ourselves. And that's really what all of this personal development, self-improvement, creating greatness in your life, a lot of it just comes back to what limiting beliefs do we have? And we all have a lot of them. And some of them will be very hard to change. And we will always have certain limiting beliefs. But if you could just make progress on one of these old belief systems that do not serve you, you could live the life of your dreams in ways you never imagined. And I know because I've done it multiple times. I've broken through my own personal obstacles and limiting beliefs in many different ways: abundance, relationships, finances. I've broken through barriers I never thought possible. I've manifested and brought to fruition things that I never thought possible, or I couldn't see the way in which it would be possible. And it was always limiting beliefs that holds up those blinders, that filters information in such a way that I can't understand or see it. So, with that being said, one of the reasons I do what I do is because I know it's possible to change the brain, change the mind, to fire and wire new neural networks, beliefs, possibilities, and bring myself into circumstances that manifest more of that which I desire. It's not woo woo or silly nonsense. I mean, we're talking about neuroscience, we're talking about behavioral psychology, we're talking about the science of physiology, the science of the brain. I mean, it's all there. It's all there. And a lot of great teachers have been talking about this stuff for years, and it's delivered in different ways, right? So I'm just translating it in the best way possible that I know how. I've been my own guinea pig. And I never thought I would actually work with clients. I remember when I first got into this work, I remember thinking, this is amazing. Like maybe I'd share it with some friends and family because it's truly life changing. To get out of your own way, to free yourself from the shackles of old beliefs that aren't even yours, that maybe you picked up from parents or teachers or peers when you were in first grade, right? Or some sort of environment that you lived in that was very limiting, right? And so I've done it myself. That's why I was like, I need to share this. It's just too powerful. I need to share this. And then when I started actually working with clients and seeing them have breakthroughs, it's so rewarding, incredibly fulfilling, right? So, how do you change these hardwired programs that are running our lives in a way that may not serve us? Well, one of the first things I could tell you is you need to start to become aware of them. You need to start to understand what they are. And it could be hard to do that because the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind is very good at hiding things from us that it doesn't want us to bring to the surface. It could be from trauma. It could be something silly from childhood that established some sort of limiting belief just because of one little experience. Getting made fun of while you're giving a report up in front of the first grade classroom could result into you never wanting to be a public speaker, having a fear of public speaking. And maybe you're an adult and you got to do public speaking and you have no idea why you're so fearful of it. And it could be multifaceted, but it could be from that silly first grade report you did up in front of the class and maybe you got made fun of. And it seems so silly and innocent, but it registered that belief system forever. But the beauty of it is you can change it. You can collapse it, you could rewire it. So becoming aware of these things is one of the first things you could do. What's beautiful about awareness is that as you become aware and you discover them, sometimes that alone is enough to instantly change it. Just becoming aware of something that's holding you back could be a light bulb moment, like I can't talk today. An epiphany. I'm sorry. I don't know why I can't say the word. Anyway, it could be an epiphany. There we go. And it's that light bulb where you're like, just becoming aware of it could shift something inside of you. And it happens. It's happened to me. I've seen it happen to other people. So awareness alone, self-awareness could be powerful. So how do you develop that? Well, I go over a lot of these techniques because all of the different techniques I share can be very powerful for shifting your mindset, shifting limiting beliefs, becoming more aware, self-aware, more aware of reality, more aware of yourself, more aware of this greater consciousness and energies that are around you. They all kind of play into the same idea of, if you can become aware of something, you can control it more. Becoming more aware of your environment, you can have more control over it. Becoming more aware of the thoughts, the reoccurring thoughts, the negative belief systems, the limiting beliefs, the negative self-talk, just becoming aware of that stuff, you could have more control over it. So some of the techniques I share with people on how to become more aware is, number one, meditating. You're like, oh, I don't want to meditate. Why not? Might be a limiting belief there. Maybe because you believe it won't even work. Maybe you don't believe it'll help you. Maybe you don't even know why you're meditating. Maybe you've been told that it's just good for you. Take it from me, meditation is very powerful. And there's lots of different ways to meditate. You could spend days researching all the different ways to meditate. Meditation is essentially means becoming aware of. So just finding a simple meditation routine, just starting a couple minutes a day, could be incredibly powerful and eye-opening. And it helps you develop that awareness. You are firing and wiring neural networks every time you meditate. And that skill alone, over time of building more awareness, you could start to become more aware of the limiting beliefs. So meditation alone can help you with that. Another great technique that's a little more hands-on is journaling, right? Like just writing. And you like actually write it. I would say don't do it on a computer or your phone. You could, but there's such a powerful energy to actually putting it down on paper with a pen or a pencil or something. So write down how you feel. Maybe you notice that there's something you want to do, but you're not doing it. Unpack that, right? Like write it down. Like I really want to go do this, and I don't know why I'm not. It's almost like I'm nervous, right? Just write. Let yourself go and just write it out. You start to unpack negative belief systems, limiting beliefs, things to work on. Even if you can't figure it out by journaling it alone, there will be hints there. And you might have that light bulb moment just from journaling. So write down what bothers you. Write down some of the negative thought patterns you've noticed. Try to notice those things. Like throughout the day, when are there times when you get upset, or you feel bothered, or you feel just low? Or think about the times where you say you can't. I can't do this. No, I can't. I can't do that. Right? Write those things down. You'll start to flush out what's really holding you back. And maybe the awareness of it alone does not completely eliminate it, but there's other ways to do that. But just getting it out on paper, journal, have a good dedicated journal every day, you will start to find them. And again, you're building awareness by journaling. You're wiring neural networks every time you journal. You're unpacking aspects of your mind, right? So meditation, journaling alone could help build awareness. And when you have more awareness, you have more control, right? So those are just two techniques. I mean, I do a lot of tapping, EFT, emotional freedom techniques. They're very powerful for collapsing limiting beliefs. Sometimes we don't even get to the source of why we might have a limiting belief, and we collapse it with EFT alone. So there's EFT, there's hypnosis, right? There's self-hypnosis. There's another technique that uses kinesiology called Psych-K. There's all sorts of ways in which you could help influence the subconscious mind, collapse limiting beliefs, and start to live the life you deserve, the life of your dreams, getting more of what you want. Another thing I wanted to share about this is it can take time. There's definitely the light bulb moments, the epiphanies. I said the word right there. There are definitely those will happen. If you go on this journey and you dedicate yourself on a daily basis, or maybe 5 times a week, maybe during the week, or whatever you want to do. You might have to start out with a couple times a week of having these rituals of meditation, journaling, visualization, maybe some tapping, maybe some other techniques. Just remember that the whole point of doing these is to improve your life, to empower yourself to have a greater life. But the reason you're really doing it is because there are belief systems within you, your mind, that hold you back from having what you want. And all of these techniques are to build awareness of them and to rewire the brain, collapse them, rewire the brain. Okay? That's really what we're after all the time. That's the key to personal development, personal greatness, achieving more of what you want. Typically, Brad Yates has this quote. I love Brad Yates, an amazing gentleman, EFT practitioner, master. I've heard him on multiple occasions say, the point at which we are not achieving what we want, or let me rephrase that, it's the extent to which we are not getting what we want is the extent to which we are resisting it. Isn't that an amazing quote? And it really is true. I mean, we have the ability to do absolutely amazing things, all of us. We have the same God-given consciousness, right? Consciousness is flowing through each one of us. We might look different, we might sound different, but we literally have all of this time and space and reality to create and be and do and have whatever we want. We just don't believe it. We only believe certain things to a certain extent, right? So stepping outside of that, not boxing yourself in, is so powerful. And that's what we're after. That's what all these techniques come down to, right? Visualization is another powerful one. If you could do vivid imagery and visualize what you want, you know, who you want to be, the relationship you want to have, the amount of money you want to have, the type of job or career or business you want to have, you could visualize yourself there. If you could see it in your mind vividly to the point where you're emotionally attached to that vision, something's going to manifest out of it, and it's going to be beautiful. It might be even better than what we expected. And I've had those moments many times in the last several years. So visualization is another great, powerful technique. But the point is, all these techniques, all these different concepts, they really get down to a couple things. And that is, you have limiting beliefs that hold you back. The extent to which you're not experiencing things or having things or achieving things are the extent to which you're resisting those things. Even if you believe you're not resisting them, there's something in there that's holding you back. So that's all for today. This video is long enough. If you have any questions, let me know. But just keep that in mind. It's the belief systems that we're really after. We want to change those programs. Just like a computer program, just think, you know, you get a new software update in a computer program. It's like all of a sudden the computer is doing amazing things it's never done before. It's not the computer itself. It's the program. We've updated it. So let's update our programs. Let's get rid of those old ones that do not serve us. Let's create greatness. I just can't talk today, so I'm going to stop. Let's create greatness, baby. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you on the next one.